Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars, and thank you for watching. Today, we are going to be talking about why you don't want to buy a Squier Stratocaster. That's right, we did the Fender American Stratocaster before. Today, we are doing the Squier Stratocaster. Now, while this one is heavily modified, the originals that you buy fresh out of the box, especially those kit ones that come with those crappy, cheapy little 15-watt amps, holy garbage, Batman. Stay away from those freaking things. Now, before we get too far into it, you gotta remember, take this video lightly. Some of the points are correct, some of the points are jokey. It's just meant to be a jokey, feel-good video. So let's get into it. A lot of the problems are gonna sound very similar to the American version, but there's also going to be some special requirements. Now, let's start from the bottom. Let's go with the body. The body wood, you sand this thing down, while it may not necessarily be plywood, you're looking at probably between 8,000 and 20,000 pieces of wood glued together with sawdust and wood glue and super glue. You never know how many pieces these things are. The bodies are thinner too, which also leads to other problems. So because the bodies are thinner, if you want to upgrade the tremolo, you got to make sure you buy a Squier specific one or it will not fit. The block in the back, right here, your tremolo block, it'll either be too wide or too tall, and it just will not fit. So if they really wanted to do you justice, they would make them to the same freaking size as the Mexican and the American ones. The other thing, pick guards. You buy an aftermarket pick guard. Most of the aftermarket pick guards are set up for Mexican and American ones. That means you're going to be drilling holes. The holes aren't going to line up. If you look at this here, this flops a little bit right here because the route is too far down where this screw is. The screw isn't down far enough. This screw goes into nothing. It is purely aesthetic. There is nothing, absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Moving on to the tremolo system. Holy terribleness, Batman. Holy mystery metal, Batman. Look at how thin that block is. You want sustain? Well, you're not going to get it here. You're better off buying a Squier Telecaster if you want to go cheap. Number one, these tremolos rarely stay in tune. Rarely stay in tune. You wiggle around and then your guitar is out of tune. You're better off either blocking it off. This one, I got the screws down as far as it can go. This bridge does not move when I tune it anymore. I did that purposely because I tried to use the tremolo and holy crap, did everything go out of tune all of the time. Moving on to the front side of the body. The original pickups in most of these things, the original electronics, input jack, everything about it is cheap, junky garbage. You can go buy a preloaded pickguard literally anywhere. This one is directly from China. This was like 20, 30 bucks, and it'll sound a million times better than your stock pickups. It is literally impossible to buy crappier pickups for a Squier Strat. I have picked up a few that sounded okay, but nothing that was like, wow, that's amazing. I need to buy that $100 guitar right now. There's a reason these things go for like 100 to 150 bucks. There's a reason you never see them. You always see them flooded on the used market because the second somebody buys a real guitar or something better, these things are gone forever unless they customize them like I did. Moving on to the back. Why can't we get a better freaking heel joint? It's a Squier, it's not a vintage correct 50s or 60s style Fender USA made guitar. Why can't this be rounded off? Why can't they do the sculpt like they do with everything else? Oh, it's going to cost them like 4 extra cents because they got to put on a different back plate now. Oh, boo-hoo. You know how many more people would buy your guitars if you actually rounded this friggin' thing off and made it easy access all the way up to the 22 frets that you should have? There's no reason a Squier needs to have 21 frets. Yet again, not vintage correct. Give me my extra freaking fret. Holy crap. Moving on to the fretwork, hit or miss. I guess he never miss, huh? Got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't gift you. No, but literally though, hit or miss. The fretworks can be either fine, really good. Sometimes it is really good. You get a really good one. Or it can be complete utter garbage, unplayable, and that $100 guitar that you bought now is going to cost you $250 because you get to purchase a fret job. How freaking fantastic. You just love purchasing a fret job, don't you? You know, you love spending double the money you thought you were going to buy on an initial guitar. Some of these, this one doesn't have it, the skunk stripe. So skunk stripes, I freaking hate them. A lot of Squiers have them. A lot of Fenders have them. Basically, it's because the neck is one piece. They don't put the fretboard on top like this one. Stay away from those completely, because eventually either the maple's going to grow or shrink, or the rosewood or whatever bullshit they put in the back of there on the Squiers is going to grow or shrink, and you're going to have a little bit of a lip there, and it's going to be annoying as hell. I will never buy another guitar with a skunk stripe on the neck. It is very aggravating, very annoying, and I freaking hate it, because over time, with humidity, if you take it to a different location, you're just playing it all the time, you leave it out of the case a lot, you're not babying the crap out of it, it's going to shrink or enlarge, and it's going to feel awkward and miserable. Now, going up further to the neck, the nut, you need to replace the nut almost immediately. This one has the stock nut. It's not terrible. Sometimes the cut is like all over the place, making the guitar virtually unplayable, especially the older Squiers. The newer ones, they have gotten a lot better, but it's just some cheap plastic garbage. You know, go spend 10 bucks on a nut. You know, maybe it might cost you 30 bucks to have a Luther professionally install it, or better yet, go buy a Mexican or USA guitar, because if you're going to start somebody off on a guitar, you might as well get them something that's halfway decent. Oh, I'm going to be cheapy as hell and buy the $100 guitar for my kid. Oh, well, reach deep into your freaking wallet and go spend $400 to $500. Hell, if you're rich, give them $1,000. Say, here you go, here's a brand new USA Fender Strat. You'll be able to play it for hours, it intonates correctly, the tremolo is halfway decent, it still doesn't stay in tune all the way, but it's better than the crappy mystery metal they put in the damn bridge of these things, and your kid will actually want to play guitar and not freaking hate it. Moving on to the truss rod, plastic in the truss rod hole. Why we even need a truss rod hole cover is beyond me. It would save them money just to make the route look halfway decent and just keep it maple. There's not really a reason for it, in my opinion. The logo is fine, you know, Squier, whatever. String trees, Squiers are weird because they always have 2 string trees. This is where I approve of the Squier, because the Squier has two sets going across 4 of your strings. A lot of them have staggered tuners now, so you don't even have string trees. But a lot of the issues is if you have one of them, sometimes, you know, your 2 middle strings there, your, G and D, if I'm looking at my freaking chart correctly. I don't have a chart behind the camera, it's a joke. That is the one good thing. Although, keep in mind, these are cheapy. Sometimes they will bind your strings, so you're honestly better off replacing them. Moving on to the crappy tuners. Oh yeah, crappy tuners. These are also very hit or miss. A lot of these are no name. Some of them say Squier. Very rarely will you get any type of name brand tuners. Go find yourself a pair of cheap locking tuners. It's literally impossible to get worse tuners on these things. I got lucky with this one. This particular one is fine, but most of the tuners on Squiers are just cheap, junky crap. So that's why you buy an actual American Strat or a Mexican Strat, because by the time you get done upgrading all the things that are wrong with these, 90% of the time, you can buy that guitar. You know, if you got to do a fret job. So let's say the guitar was a bass. We'll say bass, $100. We're going to say you want to replace the tremolo system. We're going to say a cheap one is $50, so we're up to $150. Pick guard, let's see, we'll say $30. So now we're up to $180. Let's see, what else do we got to do? Fret job, might as well add another $150 on top of that. What is that? $330 now. String trees they cost maybe $10. Same with the nut, so there's 20. We're up to $350. Good set of tuners is going to cost you $50. So by the time you're done upgrading this to actually make it a decent guitar, you're already into it $400. And you know what you can buy for $400? A used Mexican Stratocaster. Now it might be a little more, it might be $450, but you're going to get everything fine. You're not going to have to level the frets. look out for skunk stripes because they will be a problem in the foreseeable future. But you're going to get a full thickness body so you can upgrade whatever you want, put whatever tremolo in it you want, and you're not going to have problems. That's the major thing. You spend a little bit more money on a guitar, you're not going to have problems. The cheapest, crappiest Squiers that you have to avoid are the ones that come with the amps. They're like $100 to $150. Everybody buys them for their kid thinking, oh, my kid will like this. Oh, my kid will like this. The action comes a mile high off the freaking fretboard. It is just massively unplayable. They hurt the kid's fingers, and then it ends up in a garage sale. I end up buying it for $20 and selling it to somebody for $50 to save them a few bucks. Last thing I want to talk about, besides the crappy tremolo system, we're going to go back to it. Same thing with the American. Screw height. Look at how freaking tall these things are. I had to shim the neck on this. We'll get to that in a moment too. But the setting the string height, look at how much space there is. Literally half the screw is sticking out on most of these. I have one replacement that's significantly shorter. And why can't you just, instead of just buying the same screw over and over and over again, cut it in half? Or, cut a quarter off of it. You don't need all of that room because originally these came with a cover so your hand wouldn't get freaking cut to shit on these things. But if I'm here palm muting and, I ain't got a callus on the side of my hand, it's gonna hurt. It's going to hurt my hand after a certain point of time, and especially a new player. They don't want to deal with freaking sharp metal digging into the side of their hand, cutting the crap out of it. Final thing we'll talk about is neck shimming. A lot of these freaking guitars, they become unplayable because the pocket is either not cut correctly or the neck itself is not cut correctly. The newer ones aren't as big as a problem as the old ones, but you have to pop the neck off the guitar and shim it if you don't know what you're doing. That is very terrifying for a new player. Do not let a new player shim a guitar neck. Just buy a higher-end Mexican or American version, and most of the time you won't have that issue. The other thing I noticed on a lot of Fenders, fret sprout. They claim it's something that you can't do anything about. This one doesn't have any. So I don't know what the problem is with this one, but the Rosewood didn't have any. So maybe you look for the Rosewood ones. But a lot of the maple fretboards, I freaking hate it because there seems to consistently be fret sprout. And that's another thing. If you got to have them crown and level and fix the fret sprout, you're looking at an easy $200 from a Luther to repair that. You're better off at that point just buying a new guitar or buying a new neck, because who wants to put $200 into a guitar they got for $100? It doesn't make sense. You can try doing it yourself, but 9 out of 10 a beginner is going to mess it up and have to throw out the neck. So it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts in the comment down below. I'm sick of trashing these guitars. Obviously, I found a good one. I'm keeping this one for now. I customized it. It looks ugly. Whatever. I don't care about your opinion. It sounds decent. That's all that friggin' matters to me. Hit that subscribe button while you're down there. Turn on that notification bell. Leave a like. Comment down below what you want to see for future Don't Buy videos, future guitar and music related videos. I'm starting a eBay store. I got a couple things up for sale. I'll be having a couple of pedals. They're not like channel switching pedals, rather, for sale. They'll be up. I believe I'll have a tuner pedal on there as well. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to that in the description as well, if you're curious. There's some toys on there too if you're into motorcycles. I've been selling a lot of toy motorcycles because I got a large collection of them. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.